My name's Eddie Olshansky, and I run a Cleveland-based community action organization called Rash Fish, where we have a fleet of kayaks that are available for free for volunteers to come down to the Cuyahoga River, engaged by cleaning up some of the massive amounts of plastic debris that are flowing through our river out into Lake Erie, the drinking water supply of like almost 12 million people. The start of the EPA, the Fresh Water Act, all of that came about because this river caught on fire. We stopped a lot of industrial dumping, but our river faces new and worsening stressors like the nurdles. They look like fish eggs. The birds and the fish are eating them. It's a terrible thing, and no one littered those things. They were, again, never even turned into a product to be used, yet they're out here floating as zero-use plastics right here in our own river. Typically, we think about microplastics as a product that was made and used and then is breaking down into smaller and smaller pieces out in the environment. But nurdles are more like the building blocks of plastic products. Say you wanted to make plastic bottles in a factory. For every plastic bottle, you'd take about 150 of these tiny little plastic beads, melt them down, put them through a machine, and melt them into the shape of a plastic bottle. Plastics crisis starts long before this stuff ends up in the river. Down in the river, you'll see like a little log jam or a bunch of debris stacked up on the rocks. And I'll take a little net like this and I'll scoop up all that debris. And in there, you'll see, other plastics and bits of styrofoam. But the real bad part are these nurdles. So right here you can kind of see the difference between these ones that might have been floating in the river for a couple of decades and they're wore out and they've got a tint to them and they're beat up and they're not quite as smooth. These ones are fresh. These ones, maybe only had been in the river days or weeks. Nurdles have made the news a couple of times recently. I mean, whether it's a container on a sea freight ship that tips over and loses $1 trillion in a day, or close here to home, the East Palestine train derailment. That was actually a faulty wheel bearing on another train car on that same train that was holding nurdles. Like most plastics, nurdles are a petroleum distillate. They're highly flammable, especially when they're first produced. So a wheel bearing overheated on that train, which caught the contents of that car on fire. It was filled with nurdles. That's what caused that entire train to derail. There are a lot of great opportunities for people to give back to their community. You can follow us on Instagram at trashfishcle. You can hop on our website, trashfishcle.org. You can sign up to borrow our kayaks, come out here, get a first-hand look and a tour